Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Friday morning pre-market analysis and trade plan setup for July the 25th, 2014. For those that are new here, my name is Doug McKay. I am the founder and head moderator of Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is a self-organized learning environment. It is not a commercial venture. It is a private group of retail traders. We come together in a private Skype room every day, talk about the trades that we're doing, the market, our observations, and we share with each other and learn together. Each morning we come together in this live pre-market session where I go through my homework and my analysis and then set up my hypotheses and my trade levels and targets for the day. We're coming up on our 5th year in next month, and if you're interested in checking us out, you can give me a Skype contact request at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Of course, we're building a new website as we speak right now, and you'll be able to join us there. My email address is d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. All right, before we get going, we do go through the macro to the micro. We go through a morning pre-market routine. We do not vary from it very much. We do this because I believe fully that you have to have a pre-market routine each morning, and I like to look at the macro to the micro so I understand where we are within the trend, the key numbers, and make sure that I don't get biased in one direction or the other. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube after the fact, you might want to skip ahead until we get into some more in-depth chart analysis and we get into the volume profile stuff. But it's all good stuff. At least I hope it's good stuff. At least some people keep coming back day after day. But before I do anything, I do have to get the disclaimer done. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand their knowledge in the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than their initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence and your own trade plan. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Go over to the key numbers, take a look at it. Yesterday we were talking about, well, let's take a look at yesterday first because, you know, it's good to do a market review. Where'd my chart go? Here it is. So yesterday, you know, we had put that all-time high in at 1985.75, and as I mentioned, that I didn't think that we would, that the RTH traders would leave that alone. They don't like the Globex putting in those all-time highs. So we're likely to go up there and test it. I was looking for a possible breakout day if we did break above it and going up and hitting that 127 fib up at the 1987 25 fib extension. But we were looking at the the possibility of having trouble breaking out of the range and then coming down and taking out the naked VPOC and the naked close. Our first target inside a range was that value area high at 82.50, but then we were also looking at coming down and taking out this 1981, which was the close. And then we said if we got inside of range, that inside of value, we could look for a destination trade down to the value area low down at 1979. They didn't quite get there. They two-ticked us. And it only came down to 1979.50. That's why we have a trade area, not exact numbers. Is sometimes they'll front run 2 or 3 ticks, and you have to be prepared for that and watch for that. Rotated back up out through, and this was one of our hypotheses that we'd go down and test the other side of range, find responsive buyers, and then rotate up through range, break out of range, and go and take out that all-time high and Globex high at 1985.75. We went to the tick, and responsive sellers stepped in and took us back down, rotated us all the way back down through, back to that 81, and then they took us back up, tried to break us back out of range, okay, only got 1 point of extension above range, and then rotated us back down all the way through to 79.50, and then we just sort of chopped around. But if you look at how we opened, where we opened, in our auction logic clues, we had no OTF participation most of the morning. We were likely to get a rotational day with a move to take out the all-time high at 1985, and that's exactly what we did. So going over to the key numbers, that number above us obviously is very important at 1985.75. We're currently trading, I didn't check to see where we're currently trading. Let me do that. We're currently trading 78. We're going to open outside of range, below range and below value this morning. It's the first time we've seen that for a bit. Usually we're opening, in the upper portion or above range or above value lately. But we've got the all-time high we've got to be aware of at 1985.75. We have to start thinking about that 1953 level, if we still see some weakness. The key level I'm watching below us right now as a target, if we get some weakness coming in, is that microcomposite VPOC at 1967, but we'll get into that. Nothing really, we've got the previous month high at 1960. I would be marking that down into your journal, but other than that, the macro numbers aren't that interesting. Going over to the intraday, yesterday we opened the Globex 1981. We had a Globex high of 85.75 and a low of 76.75. Keep an eye on this number. Again, that 75.75, 76 area keeps coming into play. Although our overall distribution zone value area high is shifted up to 77 area, the 75, 76 area is still something I'm keeping my eye on. Then we opened up in range at 1983.25, broke the IB to the high side for a normal variation. Our opening swing high was 84, opening swing low was 81.50. So we opened auction in range but outside of value. Going through our auction logic questions, we had a range bigger, opening swing bigger than 250, than 2 points, it was 250. Our IB was normal size IB, 1984.75 for the high, 79.50 for the low. You can see that our initial balance has been pretty much in around that 5 1/4 points for the last 4 days. Our intraday numbers, our 1230 number, all numbers in here are central. Our 1230 number, 83.25. Our high, 85.75. So we've got a double top on that 1985.75 high. Makes me wonder whether or not we're going to see new highs, but we have to see what the auction gives us over the next week. Our RTH lows, 79.50, and then we closed lower at 1980.50. And our VPOC was basically unchanged, 1 tick higher at 1982.25. So we do have value left above us. Just make yourself aware of the fact that value and price acceptance is still above us. Our 20-day ATRs are constricting. We have just over 10 3/4 point on the RTH, just under 14 on the full session, and just over 850 on the Globex. Our value area high was higher at 84.25. Our value area high was higher at 81.25. So as the value area continues to increase, we're going to open up below that today. And this is going to be the first sign of weakness coming in for the last few days. But you can see that we did it on lighter volume again. We're going into these summer doldrums and trading below normal levels. We need some of the pros to come back, as somebody said yesterday. Going over to the daily report, our daily pivot is 1980.50. We're below that. Support 1, there's that 1975.50 area again. So our first support is 75.50. Second is 71.50. That's right at that CHVN. I think CHVN is actually 71.25, but we'll take a look at it. Our resistance 1, 84.50, but I would really be watching that 85.75 as resistance 1, and then we've got the 89.50 above that. Weekly, our pivot was 63, 64 area. We're above that right now, and our resistance 1 is that all-time high area again, and then our support is down at the 1949, 1950 area. The 20-day ATR targets, our full session high so far is 1980.75. Our full session low is 1975.50. So our ATR targets to the upside, 20-day ATR target up at 1989.25, just below that 1990 measured move, and then to the low side is 1967, and that's right near that microcomposite VPOC at 67.50, I believe it is. News this morning, we've already been through it. We really don't have any other scheduled news that should move the market, but of course we've got lots of headline risk, so you've got to be careful of that. Let's jump over to the macro to the micro trends. Monthly, still intact, good slope, good separation. Price is paralleling the 9 EMA quite nicely. Trend is intact on the monthly. Same thing on the weekly. We came down and tested that 9 EMA last week, and then we popped off of it, and currently we're trading above the previous month close. We got good slope, good separation, so the overall weekly trend is intact. On the daily, same thing. We had that head and shoulder measured move up to 92 or 98, depending on how you measure it. The pattern itself is on the 30-minute, but it's just showing well here. So we are not in violation of that until we get below that 1957 level, and we still have that measured move up to, depending on where you put your neckline, 92 or 98. I like the 92 better because I like a smaller target or a closer target, so it's increases the odds. We do have a bit of a technical gap right here on the daily. A gap close today would likely take us down to that 1972, but again, I'm watching that 71 CHVN and the 75. But we do still have the trend intact on the daily, so we could just come down, find some responsive buyers, and then go up and finish that measured move. Going over to the geometric chart, there's no opposing forks right now, and this just leads me further to believe that we're going to get this continuation up, but we have to trade what we see, not what we think. We do have an energy point up at that 2,000. I still think they're going to go for it, but currently today we've come back down below the short-term upward sloping fork center line. We've tested it overnight at 82, and then or near 82, 81, and currently we're trading below it. A move above this, I'd be looking for a move to test the upper line of the intermediate upward sloping fork, and that would take us up to 1990, and that's that 20-day ATR target. Of course, the 92 just above it with the head and shoulders measured move, inverted head and shoulders, I should say. If we still see some weakness, okay, a test to the center line is going to give you that 81, 82 level, but if we see some serious weakness coming in, a test of the lower line right now is going to take us down into that 54, and really I'm watching that 1952.75, which is the most accepted price prior to breaking and going up to make the all-time. I don't think we're going to see that today, but hey, you never know. If we get some serious sell-off going, and on a Friday with low volume, once we settle things out today, I think we're going to drift in one direction or the other. So we've got to be aware of that. So let's go over, take a look at the big picture. So we're currently trading the value area high of this micro composite. Okay, that has the VPOC at that 1952.75, and that microcomposite goes back to the 27th of May. The The value area high is the 77.75, so we've got to look at that as possible resistance, on the open this morning. And then the key level I'm watching below is going to be the 76.50, but I'm really got a range there between that 75.75 and 76.50. If we break below that, then I think we're going to come down and close this naked close down here at the 74.50 as our first target inside of this this range. If we can get back above the 77.75, then I'd be looking to go and test the range low from yesterday and the CLVN at 1979.50, and then inside a range we'll start talking about that on the intraday charts. But if we do get down here, the two key levels that I'm looking at is the 74.50 and then the 71.25, and the 71.25 with that 1970 being the first support that I expect to come in. But if we get below that, remember that the microcomposite VPOC going back to the beginning of the month is that 1967.50. I'll be watching for that with the lower side of that balance being down at 65.25, but I think we could probably push through to the 3-day microcomposite once they went down and picked up buyers again down at that 1952.75. They accepted value here at 64.25 before gapping up. So, this, if we get down into this distribution zone between 70 and 65, I'd be looking for extension down to that 64.25, possibly down to 62. So let's take a look at the overnights and start bringing our levels over. So currently right now, our overnight high is up at just inside of the range at 80.75 and just below, or is it just above? Just above the close. The naked close is 1980.50. So you got a really nice target if you get above that 79.50. Our overnight low, there's that 75.50 again. So our overnight low, 75.50. Just below, and you can see that the range low at that 75.75 is right there as well. And then you get the naked close down here at 74.50. And then our VPOC, which I don't think is going to shift, is just above us right now at that 78.75. So if we open right now at the 77.50 area and our naked close is at 80.50, okay, a half gap fill is going to be 79. And that's basically, the between the overnight VPOC and the range low at 79.50. And I'm going to put that in here so that we have it. Well, I got to wait to see where we're open, but it's going to be in around that 79 area. So we can get rid of this, and we can go to this, and we've got that 76.50. I'm going to be using that 76.50 as a guide, okay, in a trade level. Because if we can get below that 76.50, then I'd be looking for them. I would be expecting that the initiative sellers are taking control, and we're likely to push through and take out the overnight low down here at 75.50 and push through to the 74.50 with the first key target below that down here at 1971 area. We've got the naked close, we've got the naked VPOC, we've got the CHVN. We've got lots down here with the other side of that balance and support down here at this 1970. Below 1970, the first target below is at 67.50 with continuation to take out the naked close down here and fill this gap down here at 1966.50 with the other side of that balance being 65.25. But like I said, I'd be looking for them to push down through to the 64.25 because you've got 64.25 CLVN, and you've got the 63.75. So I'm going to skip right down and put my other trade area down here at the 1962. And then if we get below 62, the first target below is this 58.59 area. You can see that it was a former 2-day microcomposite VPOC a couple times, plus it's the value area low of the shorter time frame, the July microcomposite down here at 57.75. So I'd be looking at that 59 as my first target, and then 57 as the trade area. Sorry, 57.75. And then once we're down here, if we get down below the 57 and a quarter, sorry, it is 57 and a quarter. I'm not expecting any support until we get down back into this 1952.75 area. And that's our extended target for the day for the downside. And I don't think we're going to get much more than that today. It will actually be a big move itself. Now, whoops, to the upside, okay, if we can hold the 76.50, okay, we leave the overnight low untouched. The first target above is going to be the 79 area, right between the 78.75 and 79.50. And that's our half gap fill, thereabouts. But if we get back inside of the range and above that, you know what, I'm just going to leave this, take the target out, and you know that trade areas, those that are in the room, know that trade areas are targets as well. The difference between a trade area and a target is a trade area I will initiate trades as well as scale out before we get there. Targets, I won't initiate a trade, I'll scale at that level. But if we get inside of this 79.50, then I'm looking for a move up to take out the overnight high, then the naked close, and a test of this 81 and a quarter area. And then 81 and a quarter will be my main target inside of range. And then if we get inside of value, we've got the 82 and a quarter. It's right here at the 2-day microcomposite VPOC, which is 81.75. So you might even want to scale in, but I think you'd be safe to go with 82 and a quarter. And then I don't see any resistance right now until we get up into I'd be looking to see a 80% value area play destination to the value area high here at 84 and a quarter. And then if we break out that 84 and a quarter, I'm looking for a move to take out the overnight or the all-time and range high from yesterday at 85, 75, come on. But I'm going to be already long into this. I'm going to be looking for that first target, which is the 127 extension, and then of course our targets. We move this down to 90 now, because that's the 20-day ATR target, and then of course the measured move of 92 and a quarter or 98. So that's what I'm looking at in the ES. Let's just take a quick look at what it looks like on the ES Renko with Keltner. Looks beautiful. Center line 79.50. There's our range low. Our move down to test the lower Keltner line will take us down to that 70. By the time we get there, it's going to be down here in around the 71, 75, 72 level, which is our main target below. If we get back above the Keltner center line, a move to take out the all-time high would be the test to the upper Keltner. And by the time we get there, it would probably be 85, 75. Going over to the Russell. All right. So right now we're trading at this the TF composite really doesn't give us much information because it's very very toothy, except for the fact that the inventory overnight is mega short right now. All right. So if we get above this 1148, I think they're going to get you're going to get a great pickle squeeze, okay, and those shorts get caught, overnight, and they're going to be covering, and I think we'll get a rotation back up towards the 1152 area. Let me bring up the composite. I'll just go over this real quickly, and it didn't stay on, did it? I keep losing my my chart. I'm going to bring this over so you can see this better. All right, so the key line still, and then it's the same thing. We've got these three distribution zones. Well, two distribution zones and an accumulation zone. And this is the distribution, this is accumulation, and this is the distribution. And right now, the value area high of the accumulation zone is at that key line in the sand that we keep talking about. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks now. And, if we get back below there, we've got clear targets down to 1133 would be the first target, but 1130.60, anything below this 1126.70 gives us a move back to the composite VPOC and the microcomposite VPOC from the accumulation zone. This is if I bring the composite above or in front, you can see that this 1116.40 is the most accepted price going back to October the 9th, 2013, which is where I'm running my composite from. So a move back inside and below this 1136 should give us a push through to at least 1133, 1130. But if we break below the 1126.70, don't even think about it. Short it into there. We went down the last time in the Globex to 1123.80. I don't think that's going to hold this time. I think we'll go down and we'll come back into this 1120 area, and then I expect to get caught down here chopping around in this undetermined fair value just below it. But if we can hold the 1136, look for a move back up into the 1142, 1143 area, and then continuation to test the value area low from the distribution zone here at 1150. And we've got our overnight VPOC and inventory short on the overnight. So a trade above this 1148 should give you a nice move into that 49.50 because you've got two key levels right there, and then a pickle squeeze up to test the 52 area and a move to test the LVN from the double distribution zone. And, just a little bit of simple volume profile. You can see that we have had a double distribution day here, a double distribution day here, and any time that you have double distribution, you're generally going to test both sides of that distribution zone, in the next couple sessions. And you can see the next session we tested both sides of it. Okay, then we tested both sides. We created the double distribution doing that, and then the next day we tested both sides of it again on the last 2 days. You just got to be, and think about it in auction logic. Okay, you've got price acceptance, a variance of price acceptance. You had they accepted it in here around the 51, and they accepted it here around the 55. Okay, then they test the lower, and they come in, and the low was near where the price acceptance was in the lower distribution here, and then they went up and they tested the range high. They fully re-auctioned the upper distribution, creating another distribution. Then we open up this day, okay, and we trade the price acceptance here. We we trade the price acceptance here. You've got two clear areas, and this is why we get those rotational days. Now you get a triple distribution, and the middle distribution is basically, in the, near the center of both of them. It's not perfect, but you got overlapping value right now, and that's why we're getting these fairly decent rotations in the Russell right now. Anyway, once we're back inside of value, then I'm looking for a move back to take out the naked VPOC at 1158 and a test of the upper value area high destination play up here at the 60 area. But it's the 6140 that I've got my eye on right now. So I'm really watching, 3 levels, well, 4 levels. This 3680, the 49, 48, 49, the 53, and the 61. And that's basically how I'm going to play it. But I'm telling you, if we get below 1126.70, don't even think about getting long. Just think about shorting into this 11.6. It would be a beautiful trade. Anyway, I think the 49, the 48 and above is going to be a nice trade too. Going over to the gold chart, well, let me bring up the gold because I pointed this out. I actually, I pointed this out in the room yesterday. That we came down here and we had basically a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky, and I said, get long into that 93, 94 area, and we rotated up into that 93, 94 area, and we've got back into, and I wonder if we got our VPOC shift yet. The composite, I'm just bringing up the gold composite. Give me a second here. I want to do a download right here while I'm waiting. I'm going to do a full download because I need to get all my tick data. But basically, we had come and we had had the composite, and this composite goes back to all the way to October the 24th, 2008, and our most accepted price going back into that time frame was at 1293, 1294 area. Then it was this day, I believe, right here, that composite shifted up to 1590. And at that point in time, I'm saying, okay, they're accepting value higher. And then we've been using the 1305, 1306 CLVN, okay, which happens to be the near the value area low of this, distribution around that. It did shift. Okay, let's see if it's got to do the minute data now. It's bringing in the tick data. Let's see if it stays. And it did. Okay, so values now shifted back down to this 1293. So when we got that FUBAR Mr. Sneaky and the tech gap, on gold, it shifted us back here, and I think we're going to see some ping pong, back and forth, as they fight this out. But the key level that we need to hold is we need to hold this 1277 level now, because if we get below 1277, you got a really nice target below at the 1274 to get funded, but I'm really looking for a move back into this lower distribution, and where they found buyers down here at 1244, 1242 level, which is the one we were watching when we fell out of this balance around that 1294 before. But if we can get back up above 1305.30, I'm looking for a move back up into that 1315. 80 area, and I'm looking for that composite VPOC to shift back up. But I've been talking about the possibility of that shift coming back down here because there wasn't a lot that was separating them below. So we're currently trading right in balance. What are you going to do? You can't trade gold off of 1294. It's impossible. You get chopped up like you wouldn't believe. So we got to wait for an opportunity below 78, below 77, or a rejection of 77 back into the 1293, or a move to 1305 and rejection of the value area low of the micro composite and rotation back down to the 1293, or a breakout and a break inside of this value and a move up to this 1315.90. So really the safe trades in gold right now are at 1305.50 and 1277.20. Other than that, don't get chopped up in here. You can get your face peeled very easily and very quickly. Anyway, that's going to complete the morning pre-market session for July the 25th, 2014. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.